Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. My name's Paul, this is my dog Roscoe, and that's the sofa. Now today I'm coming to you, this is probably going to be kind of like a short little video, but it's important nonetheless just because so much has been going on recently with this case. We kind of took a break from it for a minute, but with all the recent stuff coming out, I have so many more questions, and so over the last few days I was kind of like looking back at it with this new information that we have. And so anyways, today in this video I want to talk about some of the updates in the Brian Laundrie case, specifically revolving around the COD with what happened to him, as well as just, you know, kind of questioning some things like, do we think more charges are on the way? Things of that nature. So go ahead and buckle your sofa seatbelts up and let's get to dishing. Okay, so a very quick synopsis here on this case. The center of this case, the victim is Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie were a couple. They were traveling around doing the van life thing, documenting their journeys, their life on social media. Now, an event would take place on this trip. It was very, very publicized to the public, lots of red flags in it, and the police would be involved in this. Now, soon after this event, the couple, they got back together, they kept going along, whatever. But Brian returns home to his parents' house in Florida. He has Gabby's van. He does not have Gabby. Gabby's parents are looking for her. All of a sudden, this turns into this huge case of, you know, the entire globe is looking for Gabby. Now, Brian then would also vanish. The search would go on for him. Her body would be discovered. And then the search for him went on for weeks. And then finally, his body was discovered. A lot of stuff is revolving around how much the parents know, didn't know, did they help, yada, yada, yada. And so then, very recently, we have gotten the cause of death in this case, and it, to me, just brings up more questions. Now, again, that was a very quick sofa sense synopsis on what took place in that case. There are so many different layers to it, but I kind of wanted to just get everybody caught up that might not have been following this case, so that we can just kind of talk about the things particular to this video today. Okay, so again, let's talk about what has come back in regards to what took place with Brian. So, you know, remember, his remains were sent off. They couldn't really tell what happened to him, so then they were sent off to an anthropologist. They came back, they were like, look, this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. A lot of people were speculating that they thought that was what was going to happen to him. So, like, to me, that part wasn't a huge shocker or anything like that. Now, here are the parts to it that I am like, eh. So, obviously, with that type of injury to the head, one needs a weapon to do so, a gun. Now, here's my question. Again, at the time of this video, there has not been any announcement of, oh, they found the gun, or, oh, the gun was located here or there. That hasn't come out yet. So, at this point, this is all speculation on my part and questioning and things of that nature. So, first and foremost, where's the gun? You know, do they have it? Was it found near his body? If he really was found underwater, maybe the gun floated away. I don't know. But I'm very curious, do they have the weapon? Now, even more curious than that, you know, because again, in a normal type situation without all the stuff going on around this, this could be just kind of like, okay, that's what they did. They were found underwater. The gun probably washed away. You know, people wouldn't pay too much attention to it. But because of the public's concern with the parents, and these are the questions that I have. So there's no gun that's been found or whatever. Well, in addition to that, more information came out about the gun that has a lot of people going, wait, what? So Brian Laundrie's family attorney, Stephen Bertolino, he said that on the same day that the parents, you know, reported him missing, turned over all their guns. This was September 17th. They discovered that one was missing. Okay, so let's let that digest for a second, right? Now, the lawyer continued going forth and saying, look, you know what? Yes, we figured out a gun was missing. Obviously, this was concerning. We shared this information with the authorities, so on and so forth. And he says that his feelings, as well as what he thinks that the authorities were feeling, was, we don't want to release this information to the public because this is a highly charged situation. And, you know, to let the public know that he is possibly armed and dangerous just would not be a good thing. I'm actually going to quote very quickly what he said exactly in an interview with CNN. Imagine with the frenzy complete atmosphere at the time if the public thought Brian had a gun. I cannot speak to why law enforcement did not reveal the info, but we spoke about it at the time and I believe they felt as I did. Okay, so here's a couple of my thoughts on that aspect right there. I have, and questions I guess just to say too. Okay, so first of all, again, in some kind of situation that went down like this, I go two ways, because part of me is like, okay, I can understand where they might have been like, look, we want him found alive to get answers as to where Gabby is. You know what I'm saying? Because there's that fear in the beginning of, what if nobody ever gets any answers or finds Gabby and he takes that to the grave, right? So I can see that part. But then remember, she was found very quickly. So, and when I say quickly, I mean it wasn't like her body was missing as long as Brian's was, right? So then I'm like this, okay, at that point, do we not think it might have been in the public's best interest to say, yeah, you know what, this guy might be armed and dangerous. There's all these TikToks of people, you know, who are unknowingly, you know, hitchhiking with him or giving him rides or whatever. So that's the part where I'm just like, yeah, I think this probably would have been good for people to know. On the other hand, I'm also, and again, I just try and play devil's advocate here of, well, they also wanted to find Gabby. But again, I just go back to after they did that, why didn't they announce that? So on and so forth. Then I'm also looking at it like this, where I'm like, okay, so hold on. So the parents knew a gun was missing. So this makes me look at a whole bunch of stuff differently, right? Because I'm like, okay, remember how they went and got his car, where they went there first and they saw the car at the park and they were like, oh, well, you know, we wanted to leave it there so he'd have a way back. And so then, you know, they went back a couple of days later and got it or whatever. I'm circling back around again. You know, this is speculation street. This is not anything that's true. This is me thinking out loud. So do with that what you will. But I'm thinking, okay, this seems more and more like they might have known way more than they were letting on. Now, again, I try and think, would a parent really encourage their child to do that to themselves? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hard pill to swallow. We've seen parents numerous times try and help their children hide, right? So that's a no-brainer. I could see a parent totally doing that. Do I agree with it? No, but I'm just saying I can swallow that pill way more than I can see a parent being like, okay, well, you know, go do what you need to do. Now, I'm also not saying or insinuating that I think that parents did that to him. I know a lot of that's going on right now, and I mean, there's just, I don't have enough intel on that to even make that comment, right? I'm just thinking it in the way of, it just seems really weird that gun's missing, they know this, the back and forth with the car, all the stuff, oh, we thought he went on this day, we didn't, you see where I'm going with this, right? So that part is very suspicious to me. Now, let's circle back around, let's put that on the back burner for a second. Let's now look at and read through the statement that Gabby Petito's family attorney said. Now, this statement came after we found out what took place with Brian, okay? So there's that. Now, the federal authorities in Wyoming have asked the lawyer and the family not to release any comments on that, and so here's what he had to say about all of that. The Schmidt and Petito family has been aware of the circumstances surrounding what Brian did to himself of the sole suspect in Gabby's murder. Gabby's family will not be making a statement at this time due to the request of the United States Attorney's Office and the Teton County Prosecutor's Office. The family was asked not to make any comments and let the FBI continue their investigation. The family was also asked to wait for the United States Attorney's Office to make a determination on whether any additional individuals will be charged. When that determination is made, we will have a statement. Okay, now I changed one of the words in there, the S word, what Brian did to himself, just for obvious reasons. So that was like some of the highlights of the statement that came out. And again, I can totally see that. But again, that's where I'm like, okay, so they're trying to see if they're going to be doing charges or whatever. Obviously, at the time of this video, they haven't come out with that or not. So we'll, you know, follow that up when that happens. So here's where it leaves me off at. Okay, so remember how when the parents went out that day where they found the white bag, they found Brian's remains, the whole 9 yards. Oh, this is an area that had been formerly underwater, so on and so forth. Okay, so part of me is going down this road. Now, y'all, we are in speculation street. Okay, again, these are just my thoughts here. This is not fact, so just do with that what you will. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to know about the gun, right? Do they find the gun? Do they have the gun? What's up with the gun, okay? Secondly, I am still very curious to know and I hope to find out, what did Brian tell his parents when he returned home with the van? Okay, because remember, he comes home, he doesn't have Gabby. They go and do this little family reunion thing at the park with his sister, her husband, kids, all that stuff, right? Now, we've seen the sister in some of the TikToks and interviews saying, look, this is what we know, this is what we're allowed to say, so on and so forth. So on that note, it also makes me wonder this. Did a scenario like this go down? So say Brian came home and was totally upfront with his parents and was like, look, this is what happened. Things are about to be bad. The parents were kind of like, okay, here's the plan. That whole little thing at the park could have been completely benign, right? And nothing really took place other than, like, say that was normal for that family. It does seem to be an outdoors kind of family. It also could have been a situation where the parents might have been like, we're not going to tell the sister and her family why we're getting together, but we know this is like the last time there's going to be a sense of normalcy and potentially them ever seeing their brother again, whether they knew he was going to go run or do what he did to himself or be in jail the rest of his life or whatever. Or maybe Brian came home and, said, you know what, this happened, it's not my fault, I'm going to be blamed for it. The parents believed him and they still went through with that. Or again, I could be going down the rabbit hole too much and it could be none of that and it was just a benign, nothing going on family thing and that's all there was to it, right? But I very much question all of that at this point. Clearly, the biggest question, are the parents going to be charged? Is there some kind of deal? Was there some kind of deal? Was them that day when they went out and found Brian part of the deal? Them leading them to where Brian was? Them going out that day? Because again, I circle back to if they knew the gun was missing, right? They know their son. They clearly know these places he frequented. It's like there's something that took place that we're not being told, and I'm fine with that if it helps the investigation. These are just my curiosities. I would rather justice and the investigation take precedence over my own curiosities. You know what I'm saying? So if that needs to remain disclosed or, undisclosed or whatever until the right time or whatever, so be it. More power to it. But it makes me look at all of this in a different light now with this whole gun thing going on and the COD and all that. So then again, that day where they did that, because it just seemed so weird to me how quickly they stumbled upon that, how accurately, I guess you could say. So there's that. It almost seems like, did they go there before and find stuff? Did they, help Brian go there prior to and plant stuff there? I don't know. My head runs in circles. I'm curious to see what the Petito family has to say when they want to, if they want to. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they were able to get answers for Gabby's sake, for their sake, for justice sake. I feel like there's still more answers out there that are left uncovered, but they're probably in the know with that kind of stuff as this investigation goes further. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to come and do and talk to you about today in this video. Let me know what you think. Do you think this case is close to being done? Do you think it's just starting? Do you think that, what do you think that they know that we don't know? All that jazz. So let me know down in the comment section. Again, thank you for everybody who watches and makes things possible. Roscoe thanks you as well. We appreciate it. I hope everybody is having a wonderful fall and holiday season. And until the next time when we meet at this old sofa, I'll see you back here.